29th of August, Rabbi Levitt, Horeb.
Okay.
391?
Yep.
391, right.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll start. Common slander, as we've seen, has its roots in two things. In the inability to exercise some activity, a hobby, apart from earning one's living, which is pure and disinterested and compatible with human dignity, and in the boredom, which is a consequence of that inability. Two, in that base mentality, which tries to aggrandize itself by belittling a fellow man and rejoicing and denouncing those of his wickedness and faults which one does not possess himself. Our wise men, therefore, teach us the following ways of preventing any tendency to speak slanderously, to make oneself acquainted with the wisdom of the Torah in order to always have something to exercise one's mind with when the day's work is done, and above all, to know the higher purpose of life and recognizing abomination of the above-mentioned actions. Earning one's living is only a means, but the purpose of life is to employ one's whole life in the service of Hashem, which does not leave a single idle moment for trifling dangerously with the neighbor's honor and tranquility. To acquire that modesty and humility which makes one too much aware of one's own weaknesses, to exalt the absence of just one weakness, it makes one too much aware of one's own imperfections, to arrogate to oneself the right of passing judgment of a fellow human being, which finally is much too busy with one's own improvements to find time for the idle observation and criticism of a neighbor's fault. But you must not pass on to others what you have heard or seen of your brother, even if it's harmless, to his honor and peace, unless you are convinced that he wants it, or at least allows it to be passed on. If someone has done or said anything of this sort in the process of three people without asking for secrecy, it may be considered as having been done in public and is therefore not restricted. But these rules do not apply to anything which may affect somebody's honor or peace.
Okay. So, very good, very interesting. Rav Hirsch, he's in 391. He's analyzed what's the root cause of somebody who slandering another person. Why would that be? So he has his estimation of the matter that we read, and two different things. He's got an inability to exercise some activity apart from earning one's living. Instead of when he's working, he doesn't have time for that, and when he's not working, so what is he doing? He's got some type of a hobby, he says, or but if he doesn't have the hobby, so he can make a hobby out of slander, because he's just bored. So so that's one root, and then the other root is just the person's his base mentality. Okay, and then he points out that Chazal went to the effort not only of telling us that it's something that it's slander is usser, and pointing out all the cases where it would be usser, but they also went to the great effort to teach us ways to prevent a tendency to speak slander. And the first thing he says is to be to make oneself acquainted with the wisdom of the Torah, to learn Torah. So he's got a good something good to do when he's not working. instead of taking the time to slander other people. And number two, he says, so that's in terms of the activity, just like he said before. He was talking about activity. He needs to have a hobby. He needs to have an activity apart from engaging in sitting around and slandering people. And number two, he goes into the inner workings of. Oh, 1 second. It's 20 minutes. Wait, shh. Just a second. Oh boy. Okay. Looks like there's no problem. All right. Okay, and the second thing was oh, whatever it was, lost my place. Okay, the second thing was, yeah, to work on acquiring the proper midos, to acquire the midah of modesty and humility. And like that, the person won't. If a person is modest, the person is humble. He won't. He won't slander other people. Okay. And then in 392, he said that this is not per se a slander that he's talking about over here. He's talking about what does he say? You shouldn't pass on what you have seen or heard regarding your brother, even if it seems to be harmless in terms of having anything to do to take away his honor or his peace and solitude, unless you're convinced that he wants you to tell other people about this, what you've heard or seen, or at very least that he allows it, that he's not makpid. This sounds like the matter of revealing a secret, something that is not public information about a person. It's not necessarily derogatory. It's not necessarily damaging, but his vacation plans, for example. So you don't know necessarily that the person wants to have it known about his vacation plan. So that's that issue. But he says that this is the apetlas of the beginning of Sefer Chafetz Chaim. If this was said or done in front of three different people, and he didn't say to keep it a secret, so then it's considered that it's been done in public, and therefore there's no restriction in passing on what it is that one's heard or saw. Wow. But of course, this is only in the event that it's not something that would disturb someone's honor or peace. So if you know for a fact that it doesn't disturb his honor or peace, so then then you don't have to be concerned, because the fact it was done in front of three people and he didn't ask for secrecy to keep it a secret is tantamount to saying that he's not makpid. He does not mind that it be passed on. Okay. Okay, a round of applause for chapter 53, Honor and Peace.
Yes,
Lashon Hora and Rechilas. Now we go on to 54, Edus Umishpat, Witness and Judgment. And we call upon Mayor to start off the reading, please.
Okay. So let's see. We have many quotes from the Bible. Okay. 1 second. The first one says, Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. That's from
Oh,
Exodus, Shemot. Okay.
Seres Adibros.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right. Okay. And then from Vayikra, it says, you shall not do injustice in, no, I'm sorry, you shall not do unrighteousness in judgment. Thou shalt not respect the purse. Thou shalt not respect the person of the poor, nor honor the person of the mighty. But in righteousness thou shalt judge thy neighbor. Okay, so be equal with everyone, I guess. The next one's from Shemot. It says, thou shalt not raise a false report. Put not thine hand with the wicked to be an unrighteous witness. Thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil. Neither shalt thou speak in the cause to decline after many to wrest judgment. I'm quite sure what that means. Neither shalt thou countenance a poor man in his course. The next one's also from Shemot. Thou shalt not wrest the judgment of thy poor in his cause. Oh, we just saw that. Then from Devarim, thou shalt not wrest judgment. Thou shalt not respect the persons, neither take bribery, for bribery doth blind the eyes of the wise and pervert the words of the righteous. Okay, and the last one also from Devarim. Hear the cause between your brethren, and judge righteously between every man and his brother and the stranger that is with him. You shall not respect persons in judgment, but ye shall hear the small as well as the great. Ye shall not be afraid of the face of man, for the judgment is God's.
Okay. How to be a proper witness, how to be a proper judge.
Yes. Okay, so now we go to 393.
But what was that? What was that sentence that you said you didn't understand? I didn't understand it either.
Oh,
It
the
was,
one red.
thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil, neither shalt thou speak in a cause to decline after many to wrest judgment.
Yeah.
Anybody know what that means?
Well, let's see.
Which pasuk is this?
It's Shmos 23.
It's
23.
probably Pasuk 3.
One, yeah, right. 1-3.
Mm-hmm. Don't follow those. Don't go after a rabbim to do evil, right? Or what is it referring to exactly? Don't speak
The next part, neither shalt thou speak in a cause to decline after many to wrest judgment.
Yeah, it's hard. The English is difficult. Okay, let's take a look. We could take a look.
Forcibly pull. Rest means to forcibly pull from a person's grasp, literally, I guess.
Let's see what we have here.
I'm good, yes, I'm in class. Can I call you back? Okay, I'll look for them. Thank you.
Shmos. What? This is Shmos. Oh, I don't have Shmos here.
Okay.
Let me go get a Shmos.
Okay, let me see. It's 23:3 Shmot. Okay. Oh, the 20, thou shalt not countenance the poor man in his cause. This translation is a bit different. Oh, no, it's not. Do not glorify a destitute person in his grievance. Okay. I mean, I think apparently it's one should treat everyone equal in judgment.
23, 1, 23, 2, I think.
Yeah, it's 23, yeah. It's actually 1 to 3.
Oh, I have an interesting translation. It says, you shall not respond over a dispute to tilt after the many.
I think that's Pasuk 2, where it seems. Do you have something? Do you have something to the effect, do not glorify a destitute person in his grievance?
Yes, that's 3.
3, okay. Yeah,
But I
so
think the quote is saying 1, 2, 3.
right,
2 is included in the quote. I think
yes,
2 is the one that we want to look at.
okay.
Okay, so Rashi says, Rashi in Pasuk Base says, Losia Achre Rabim Laros, don't go after a majority to do evil. Yesh b'mikra zeh midrashei Chachmei Yisrael. In this pasuk, there are a few drushes of Chazal, because if you want to know the truth, it's really not clear what it is that the pasuk is referring to. So we want to be a little more specific. What is it talking about? Rashi says, "Aval ein lashon hamikra miyushav behen al ofanov." Says Rashi, Chazal make their drushes, but they don't really fit too well into the pasuk. Okay, that very interesting. What Rashi's. I mean, Rashi doesn't mean to say Chas v'sholem that Chacham Israel are mistaken. It just means to say that if you're going to look at the literal meaning of the pasuk itself, what the words translate out to, and what their common usage is, you'd be hard pressed to find that the drasha that the Chazal are getting out from the words. But this is not uncommon in Chazal, and we trust Chazal that they know how to darshan psukim, and we'll leave it at that. But let's see what else Rashi has to say. Mikan darshu, from here they darshan, she'ein matin l'chayva b'hachras dayan echad. What this means is, I guess a major. They shouldn't incline the judgment to liability. L'chova b'hachras dayan echad, based upon hachras dayan echad, simply by the majority of one's judge. In other words, let's say you got a beis din of 3, so 2 to 1 is only a majority of 1. That's not good enough. Okay, that's where that plays out. I don't know for a fact. Make a judgment based upon two say like this and one says like that, I believe. But anyway, that's already the intricacies of the halacha. It's what Rashi says so far. Sofa mikra darshu, and at the end of the pasuk, they learned out achrei rabim lahatos. What does that mean? she'im yesh shnayim mechayvin yoter ala mezakin. If you got at least two that want to be mechayev, that want to see liability over the mazakin, the ones that want to see that rule to get him to be mazakihim, to the opposite of convicting him. Hateh hadin al pihem l'choiva. You could incline the din according to their words, because he got two. I mean, that would follow from what we just got through saying. Ubedine nefashos hakosu. Oh, Rashi says this. What we're saying, that you got to have two, a majority. You got to have a majority of two. Majority of one is not good enough. We're talking about a capital case. Talking about a capital case, so that's going to be not decided by three in any case. Capital case is only decided by a Bezdin of Chaf Gimel of 23. So then you'd have to have a majority of more than two in favor of conviction over those that want to get him off. Okay, there's this a very long Rashi over here. This Rashi goes on and on. Anyway, so that's a little bit of what you see that this pasuk is. You see that this pasuk has got a lot of. There's a lot on this pasuk, the Kitzer.
So can you summarize what is it that you're not supposed to do?
Well, what we saw so far, right? Let's take a look at what the pasuk says. The pasuk says what does it say? Lo tieh acharei rabim l'ros. Don't go after. Oh, Roy is coming in. He's just appeared.
Oh, very nice.
The pasuk says, "Don't go after a rabbim, even though you have a majority, to do evil." What's called doing evil? Doing evil is referring to a capital case, din nefashos. So it's a matter of Mises Bezdin. That's called laros. And you don't. And what does it mean? Don't go after a majority. It means it wouldn't be enough to say, well, if we've got 12, what do we have? If we got 12 in favor of administering Mises Bezdin, and we have 11 say no, so that's not good enough, because that's only a majority of one judge. Because you got 23 in a Bezdin that's is authorized to done din of pashas. So you got to have. Rashi says you got to have more than that. You got to have at least a majority. There's two more than that want conviction, as opposed to the ones that want to get him off. So that's just a little bit of what we see in the pasuk so far. Okay.
Hello, everybody.
Good morning, Roy. So nice to see you.
Morning, Roy. How's your wife doing?
Baruch Hashem, she's home.
Ah, great.
Baruch Hashem.
Yes, but she's still not well enough to do anything. But at least Baruch Hashem, she's home.
Baruch Hashem, yeah.
Good morning, Roy. Good to see you.
You too. You too. We were on what? On chapter 54?
Chapter 54, page 265.
Right, I've got that.
We just went over the Pesukim.
Right. I'll read it quickly.
Oh, there's yeah, this is a whole Gomorrah. You have to take a look at the Gomorrah. What do they do in such a case if they've got 12 against 11? 12 12 voted for Misa and 11 voted for not giving Misa. They don't, because like what do they do now? They're at a stalemate. So they can't give Mises Bezdin based upon that. So what do they do at that point? It's a whole Gomorrah over it's a whole Gomorrah over there. So we're not going to get into all of that. You could take a look over there if you want. Okay. All right. Okay, so any other psukim we wanted to know about? We were just looking at the psukim that Rav Hirsch brought over here, with particularly this pasuk Exodus chapter 23, pasuk 2. Let's see how they translate it now. You should not follow a multitude to do evil. Oh, but this part we didn't see, did we? Neither shall you speak in a cause to decline after many to wrest judgment. That we didn't talk about.
No, that is what we just talked about.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's pasuk 2.
No, but okay, well, 23. 23. Uh-huh. Losana ariv lintos achere rabim lahatos. Oh, Rashi doesn't seem to comment on that part of the pasuk. The second part of the pasuk, he doesn't seem to comment. Oh, no.
Oh, he does. He has a lengthy comment on it. He says on, excuse me, the Sof HaMikra Darshu. They expound the end of the verse. Acharei Rabim Lahatos. To tilt after the many is to be understood as that if there are at least two more judges who opt to convict than those who opt to acquit, tilt the verdict to convict by their word.
I was referring to the next part of the pasuk. Next part of the pasuk says, "Velo lo sana al riv." Don't answer in a dispute. Lintos to go to incline after acharei rabim, after the majority, lahatos to incline in that way. And what is that talking about? I see actually Rashi has something over here. Losana al hariv.
Join the majority to pervert the law, basically.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay, it's quite a yeah. The pasuk needs a lot of explanation. The Kitzer. Okay, fine. Hmm. Yeah. Okay, fine. Let's go on. Let's see what the Rev Hirsch has to say about these psukim. And we go to Lou to continue on section 393.
Hashem has given his law not to the individual, but to the community, which is everlasting. And it is the community which gives to the individual the Torah as his life's guide. It is therefore the community which, through its representatives, watches the life of the individual and sees to it that he does not deviate from that guide, and that when he has deviated, the sanction of justice is applied. Those representatives of the community who embody the law are the judges. They are the mouthpieces of inarticulate justice. Their task is to apply the general rules of justice to the individual case. And only insofar as the judge faithfully carries out this task does his word carry power. But only when the word is uttered, when the deed is done, does the individual face his judgment. Yet the word is fleeting and the deed recognizable only from its consequences as something that has taken place in the past, but not as something that is now happening. How then fix the fleeting word? How hold the passing deed so that it can be present before the judge? There the witness appears, a deuce, aid from aid, last, hence the deuce, or the odaid, to perpetuate. The witness is he who was present when the word was spoken or when the deed was done, who perceived with his senses and retains in his mind that which was fleeting, and who reports to the judge what he has seen and heard, thus giving perpetuity to what is transitory. I have no clue as to what this means.
What does this mean over here? It seems like Rav Hirsch is just he's dealing with a question that he doesn't speak out clearly, and the question that he's dealing with is, the judges are supposed to judge based upon what happened, right? How did they find out what happened? They're not there. They weren't there. And even if they were there, but it's something that happened, some time ago, and it's not happening right now. You can't go out, you can't look out your window and see what's happening right now. It happened in 15 seconds, and then it's gone forever. And so, how is it that the judges are able to reproduce the what happened in the courtroom and then judge on what happened? So he says that's where the witnesses come in, and then he explains very interestingly the root of the word edus, which means testimony, comes from the word aid, and or you could say even what maybe he means ad or ode, like like we say, we say binyan ade ad. We give someone a bracha. You should build a house which lasts forever, right? La'olam vo'ed, binyan ade ad. So the word ad means it's forever. How do we make what happened in 15 seconds 3 months ago, or maybe even a year ago, or maybe even more than that, perpetual? That's through edut, through testimony, because that's what the word edut comes from. It comes from the word ad. It comes from the word od, which means to ode. It's something that's just still here.
Very interesting.
And so that's the way it works. Okay, 394. We got 2 minutes for
Yep.
394.
Mm.
We call upon Roy.
Thus, nowhere in human life does the fate of one individual lie so much in the hands of others as in the case of testimony and judgment. Nowhere does man appear higher than as witness and judge. Therefore, nowhere is good faith and truth more sacred than there, and nowhere is the abuse of the trust placed in you more pernicious. For see, if every single injustice against life or against health or freedom or wealth or honor or the peace of your brother is so reprehensible, respect the fact that when you are judge or witness, all these rest together in your hands. They depend on one word, on one syllable, in which you may deviate from the truth and right. But when your word is the expression of truth and justice, you stand forth as a support of the world, a divine being. We cannot here go into all the duties that are implicit in these capacities, especially as we have few opportunities in our life of exercising them. We note only the two general precepts. The duty of judge is to be not more, but also not less than the mere instrument of the law, and thus to hold himself completely above case and party. The duty of the witness is to give his evidence in strict accordance with what he has observed, only on the basis of that factual perception, not from the conclusions, not from conjecture, only from what his unimpaired senses have conveyed to him. All details, how the judge must hold himself aloof from party and case, how he must deny himself every opportunity of leaning more towards one side than the other, how he shall have both parties appear before him in a like manner, even if possible to the point of their dress being similar, so that he shall forget their status, how he shall not be more polite and friendly to one than to the other, he shall not intimidate anyone in his argument, how he must not listen to one without listening to the other, how the giving and taking of bribes, not only in money but in favor, words, courtesy, is a crime, how bought judgments are not lawful judgments, how paid testimony is not lawful testimony. Further, how the unnecessary increasing of costs amounts to theft against the litigants, how he must fearlessly speak out the truth as he sees it, as regardless of the consequences as is truth itself, and all the other excellent precepts which teach the judge how to carry out faithfully his high calling, to be guardian of the law, and of truth, and of peace, and among humanity, to uphold and to further the blessed state of peace as God created it. Whoever might be called to such high duties in life must not omit to learn all this from the Choshen Mishpat in order to fulfill it especially chapters 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 15, 17, and 34.
Oh, very good. Okay. We don't have any time to comment on this. We already ran out of time. So we say Kol Tuv and a great day to Mayor.
Okay,
Right.
everyone
See
should have a
you,
good
yeah.
day.
See you, Mayor.
Okay, take care.
All the best, and we will be back very soon.